Hello everyone and welcome to March. I'm so excited because spring is just finally starting to show in Scotland, and since we're still in lockdown I thought that since we can't really travel out of the area, that I'll show you a place that's really off the beaten track. It's actually the village where I live called Mid Calder, and it's actually been around since the 11th century, and there's some really interesting history in the area. It's not really a tourist hotspot or anything like that, but I feel as though I'm showing you the real local Scotland. Today Craig has got a drone for the weekend, and so we're going to get some really cool drone shots of the village so you can actually see it from the sky. So let's go and I'll show you Mid Calder. So when I actually do these videos, this is all the gear that I have to carry with me. So I'm a bit of a pack horse. So I've got my wee pals with me today.
Yes, can you go?
Can you go, Angus?
In the car, you donut. Good boy.
Mid Calder is an 11th century village located in the West Lothian countryside, just 15 miles west of Edinburgh. It is located on a rounded hill next to the River Armand, surrounded by the Calder Wood. There is an abundance of walking trails in and around the village and a variety of wildlife, including birds, foxes and deer. Mid Calder was once one of Scotland's most important thoroughfares for Highland cattle drovers selling their cattle at markets in Falkirk and Crieff. The cattle were then transported south to England, and Mid Calder was an important stop to rest and rehydrate at one of the several public houses in the village. When railway construction began in the 1840s, the drove roads were no longer used. Shale oil was discovered within West Lothian, leading to the world's first oil boom, and Mid Calder was transformed into a mining village, which meant the village continued to prosper. The village has a church, 3 pubs, 3 hairdressers and a cheesecake cafe. One of our favourite things to do is to walk down to the pubs in the village. The 3 pubs are the Black Bull Inn, the Mid Calder Inn, aka the Tap Shop, and the Fork and Field. So we're currently at our first destination, which is Gala Park, and it's basically, if you can see behind me, just a big green field, but this is where the Gala Day in Mid Calder is held every single year, and I'm just going to ask Craig a few questions about what really goes on, because I've only ever been to one, but he's lived here his whole life, and so he'll know a lot more than me. You're covered in mud.
We've literally been here 2 minutes.
We've been here 2 minutes and he's absolutely filthy.
There again, that husky is much worse than you.
So what actually happens at a gala day? Like, what is it?
So the Gala Day, as far as I understand it, was originally a celebration that was brought in for the children of the village quite a long time ago. So it was really just a day where all the kids could get out together, have a parade and then play some games down at this field here. So as far as I'm aware, this has been the original site for, since the games began.
And were you ever involved when you were a kid in the Gala Day?
I was, yes. I was a page boy, so I had to dress up in a kilt and ride down in a float, basically on the back of a truck through the village. waving at people, and got to come down here onto the field. So quite a proud day for my family. It's a weird tradition.
So do you have to get chosen to be the page boy?
There was a series of battles to the death. It was basically names out of the hat. I think there was one boy and one girl from each year got chosen to be on the float.
So the next location that we are at is the local cemetery, and just across the street in a minute I'm going to show you the local church, which is called the Kirk of Calder. But I thought I have a really weird interest in graveyards in Scotland, so I thought I'd just show you the local graveyard because it is quite pretty and peaceful. And just behind the graveyard to my left is actually a really beautiful park and walking area where we often take Angus for walks. The Kirk of Calder was built in the 16th century, but it's believed a church has stood on the present site since the 12th century. In 1560, the Reverend of the Kirk, John Spottiswoode, a staunch reformist, helped John Knox draw up the Scots Confession of Faith at the height of the Reformation. A portrait of Knox hangs inside the church. Other famous faces that have worshipped at the Kirk of Calder include the composer Frederick Chopin, Scottish chemist James Paraffin Young, and the explorer and missionary Dr. David Livingston. Witchcraft trials took place in the Kirk of Calder during the 16th century. Those convicted of witchcraft were later burned at Cunnaga which is located next to Gala Park. Located near the church is the 16th century mansion Calder House. It has belonged to the Sandilands family since they were gifted the lands in 1348. They carry the title Lord Torfichan. Lastly, I want to leave you with some images of what residential Mid Calder looks like today. It really is a lovely place to live in Scotland.